Well, hello there trainers, greetings, KuroBlitz here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about an idea, a hypothetical that I had for a Pokemon Legends game set in the Unova region. I always believed that, we were going to get another Legends game, and now that Meloetta is in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, the Blueberry Academy, the Indigo Disc one, I don't feel like we're going to get a Legends Meloetta. And Keldeo was in the Crown Tundra of, Sword and Shield in the Galar region, so that's going to be completely discarded. The likelihood it's Genesect because of Team Plasma, or even Victini because it's the Pokemon 494, it comes right after Arceus, so it would make more logical sense. So it would make sense for, Victini to, be the next Legends game, like maybe in the 1880s, like 10, 15 years after Arceus, like in the Cowboy era or something around those lines. And I want to give you an idea of, what could be a Legends Meloetta game and what would be the plot of this, Legends Meloetta. We don't have a sound type, but given that we have the Stellar Terra type, maybe this game could give us, the sound Terra type, and we can basically, because we have sound-based moves, we have the same amount of sound-based moves as we have of fairy moves. So sound is a type, but isn't at the exact same time. And I feel like this game could basically, we need to find some Pokemon, and we have to, battle them in some way, shape, or form. And we could get, tunes or instruments to help Meloetta to basically, achieve her true power. Meloetta is normal psychic in the Aria form and normal fighting in the Pirouette form, so maybe she could have teachings from both Victini and Keldeo on those mental and physical departments. This Legends game, I feel like it will be in Nimbasa City, and we would meet another faller like how we met Ingo. It would not be Emmet, we would meet either Hilbert or Hilda, depending if you play as a boy or a girl. And this Hilbert and Hilda would be, the protagonist of Black and White who didn't return in Black and White 2, and now we know why. They became a faller. The game would set in the 1920s, so basically 100 years before present day, 90 years before the Unova games. No character that we know would be, alive, because the older will be, Drayden, and Drayden is not 90 years old in Black and White. So I feel like this could be, how we get to create the musicals of Nimbasa, and Nimbasa as a whole, like the whole stadiums, the whole gym, like all of them, all of the livelihood of the city, and even, the roaring 20s and the capital boom of the Unova region, it will be in Nimbasa City. And I feel like before becoming the Pokemon musical and the Pokemon theater, I want to tell myself that maybe this was something called the Harmonia Productions. Maybe we see an ancestor of either Anne or Getsis, right? They would have gray hair, and they are the ones who are, starting all of this, and Meloette also has, green hair. So it would be very fitting. Maybe they could become our artistic rival in some way, shape, or form, right? And I think it will be very interesting, because if you think about it, maybe in the end of the game, they would move and they would be, the ones that, start the PokeStar Studios. So we start in music, and our rival becomes like a movie person, right? Now, when it comes to all of the instruments, we see in Paldean Winds that sound and music can calm down Pokemon with, O'Hara calming down the Satitan, right, the White Whale. We even see this with, the Lugia movie, right? With, the melody and all of that, and even in movie 10 with Darkrai, Horacian, like Prayer, it calms down Dialga and Palkia. So I feel like it will be very cool if we get, something around those lines of, wanting to teach Meloetta. We need to, find some Pokemon out there, and they would be the ones, to, calm down a creature soon to come. Now, when it comes to legendaries, I feel like in terms of legendaries, what we should realistically do is make an even distribution. The Entrolink, we never go to the Entrolink. That will be like the endgame location where we would meet Kyurem. However, this is not the Kyurem that we see in the actual games in Giant Chasm. It's another Kyurem that fall from the sky to go with the whole comet and alien thing. And this Kyurem would actually, be the original dragon. So another original dragon alien falls from the sky, but it never splits because we catch them in their true Kyurem form. It will be not called Kyurem, of course. In the north, because it's a city distorted in time, or pellucid, maybe we see the Plasma Syndicate, right? In the 1920s, it's very noir, right? So black and white. It's very noir, maybe it's like a mafia or something around those lines. Maybe the ancestor of Colress would be the one responsible for that. Maybe there's like some distortions in time, and we can see, Genesect from the future in the present day of the past. I think that would be very cool. The game is open zone, however, I feel like there should be an open world part equivalent to the wild area of Galar, and that would be the Route 4 Desert Resort. I think it would be very fitting, and because of all the ground, all the sand, I feel like maybe Landorus could, be in these vicinities on the Relic Castle and even all of that stuff. And maybe as a counterpart, maybe sometimes Enamorous shows up to, give spring and give life, and maybe that's how Castelia City becomes, more greenery. And for Castelia City, the former name that I would like to give it would be the Halios Arbors. Halios being the former name that Unova was meant to have. So I feel like it would be very cool. So this is not even a city, it's just a port, right? The Halios Harbors. I think it would be very cool. Now, when it comes to, the other legendaries, we had the Diamond and Pearl clan. I want to make an Ivory and an Ebony clan, right? Ebony and Ivory, black and white. The Ebony clan would be in the southwest of Unova, around Aspertia City. They would be settled in the Cave of Being, while the Ivory clan would be around Giant Chasm, nearby Humilau City, and they would, praise Reshiram while the others praise Zekrom. I think, this distribution, it's very, very cool. When it comes to the other Pokemon, for the totems in a way that they would, give the musical tones. This is basically a tie-in to the 7 legendaries that we get in one of the Mystery Dungeon games. The idea here is basically use non-Univamons, like how the Hisuian totems were not Sinnoh Pokemon. I want to basically utilize the 8 elements from Chinese mythology, and also, the 8 types of, materials for instruments. So in the east side, we have the basic ones with fire, water, land, and wind. While in the west side of Unova, we basically get, the more compound and the more, other element attributes. Because we have the marsh, that's more water. We have the hill, that's more land. We have the sky or the heavens, that's more wind or air, and we have the thunder, that's basically more fire, it's plasma condensed. And as for the instruments in terms of materials, shell, bamboo, metal, hide, clay, silk, gourd, and wood. There are instruments made of all of this, and I think, they'll be very interesting. We might collect plates because in the Abyssal Ruins, we see the plates of Arceus, and in the anime, Meloetta is tied with those ruins from a kingdom that precedes the Twin Heroes. So I feel like that could be very interesting to tackle. So I decided to, make these totem Pokemon all be dual typed. They would all be dual typed because there were only, 16 plates at the time. There was no blank plate for the normal type, and there was no pixie plate for, the fairy type. They would exist within Meloetta and Enamorous. Those Pokemon would be, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Kalos Pokemon because of, French influence in, the New York. We get 1 Sinnoh Pokemon, and we get 2 Owen Pokemon. So I feel like we're very cool. When it comes to the Sinnoh Pokemon, there will be, Bronzong. There will be Steel Flying. So it's an actual bell that doesn't have psychic powers. They would be in the Celestial Tower this time around. As for the Hoenn Pokemon, they would be Claydol and Whiscash, an inanimate object and a being of both land and sea. And this Claydol, they would be in the Reversal Mountain where Etran dwells, and they would be Fire Psychic instead of Ground Psychic. I think like a more clay structuring Claydol that it's fire. I think it would be very interesting to see how they could be in ancient times, like an actual being of destruction. When it comes to, Wish Cash, they are not ground, they're bug because of, you know, all of the catfish influence and all of the silk that they could produce, and they are very weirdly morphling like. So I feel like you could make, like, you know, a Unovan or an Alosian Whiscash that has like bug attributes of Araquanid and even Golisopod. I think that would be cool. For the Kalos Pokemon, I decided to, you know, use the tree and the seed Pokemon. So this Gorgeist would be, you know, part ground instead of being part grass, and it would be in the Abundant Shrine, where in the original games we see Landorus, and they would be, you know, giving us the Gourd instrument, while Trevenant loses the Ghost and keeps the grass, unlike, you know, Gorgeist, and they would be part poison. It would be like, you know, a poisonous tree because of all of the industrialization of Unova being, you know, very recently, because you have, you know, Nacrene with the museums and all of that. So you could, like, the bridges are not built yet. So even my face cam is basically covering what will be, like, you know, the only bridge at the time. It will be like, you know, the Charizard bridge, right? Driftville bridge. So yeah, I feel like, you know, this would be very cool, and all of these totems, they would give you like 2 plates or maybe 2 shards that would become the elemental gems. I think that would be very interesting. Now for the other Kalos mons, I decided to, you know, put a Dark Ice Barbaracle in the Moor of Isurus, and, you know, they would give you, you know, a shell instrument, because Barbaracle is very ninja-like, as we see in the anime. They are water, rock, true, but you can actually visualize a Barbaracle that can be dark ice type, right? Just imagine, you know, a Weavile with a Shadow Triad. Now imagine a Barbaracle, it kind of fits the bill. The other one would be, you know, a Pangoro that lives on the Twist Mountain, and this Pangoro evolves from a Pancham thanks to a Pokemon that it's part rock instead of it being, you know, part dark, so they become like fight rock. It actually fits Pangoro very nicely, if I may ask. The final one would be, you know, in the Chargestone Cave, we would see an Electric Dragon Noivern, right? They would screech bolts of lightning and even thunder, right? It would be very cool. They basically discard the primary flying type that they have, which would be an oddity. I really like the mons that I chose. Now just let me check, because I have some notes here in terms of what I would like for, you know, the plot to kind of be, and even, you know, what characters we could, you know, visualize. So just give me a moment, because I do have this here. Let me just give me 1 second, because I have everything, you know, attached here. But I really hope that you guys are enjoying this. So yeah, Pokemon Legend Meloetta, taking place in the noir setting of the 1920s, right? The Roaring Twenties. The starters. The starters will be Poplio, Grookey, and Fuecoco, because Poplio, Grookey, and Fuecoco, they are all, you know, tied to music. They would get, you know, new types. I don't know which ones. That will be for you to decide in the comments down below. We're part of the Harmonia Productions. The founder wants for people and Pokemon to unite over song in the first ever musical of the region. The founder can listen to the voices of Pokemon as well. Emmett can be here if need be. It's not really a priority. Ancestors of Chantal, the Elite Four Ghost, it will be a playwright. Of Eliza, you know, the gym leader, she will be part of the wardrobe. Berg, the other gym leader of Castilia, the ancestor of him, it will be part of the props. And Roxy's ancestor would also be present because, you know, music, right? Our rival being, you know, the ancestor of the Pokestar Studios creator. So maybe, you know, the ancestor of Anne and Getsis, they would be like, you know, the Silene, while our rival will be like the Kamado in some way, shape, or form. The original dragon could be created with the Godstone in the Dream World. That would be like, you know, the Introlink plot. Yeah. Meloetta, Relic Song. Okay, yeah. That was basically it. I think like the only thing that I didn't have here was realistically the starters. It would be, you know, Poplio. Yeah, it would be Poplio, Grookey, and Fuecoco from the recent generations. So there's that. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to let me know what you thought about it. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and have a good one, trainers. KuroBlitz out.